The director of football save, the save where we're in charge at Paris FC, but we're not the manager. No, we are the director of football. At least we're playing as the director of football, and we've appointed a head coach. That head coach is Guti, and so far, he's been incredible. He led us in our first game back in the top flight after promotion. He led us to a 5-1 victory, and it was a complete domination. Have a look at the stats in this game. This bodes well for a highly successful season back in the top flight. Can he lead us to, I don't know, the European places, mid-table? As long as he avoids relegation, I think we'd be happy. Let's find out how this season, our first season back in Liga 1, let's find out how it goes. Come on. Hello, welcome back to the DOF save here at Paris FC, where, as I mentioned before, we've started our third season. It's kind of our second full season. We had that half season and a whole season where we got ourselves promoted from Liga 2, and then this is our third season beginning at the club here. We started it with a bang with this 5-1 victory against Stade de Reims. It is a fantastic victory, a complete domination. 38 shots, 20 on target from Guti. I mean, is he unbelievable? I feel like he is. And also, the comment section did not disappoint with lauding Guti and his managerial ways. I did really appreciate that last episode. This was the situation, though. Goals from Martial, 2 from Cabal, which is interesting because he's one of the players that was here from the beginning. I've not bought him. Mateus Diaz, and then a goal from Junior Krupi, which someone else did point out his name. He's called Junior Krupi, but on his shirt he wears Krupi Junior, which does suggest the existence of his father, who would be called Junior Krupi Senior, which I love the idea that this might even continue. And also, does anyone remember the band Junior Senior for UK viewers? Everybody. Anyway, we've got ourselves distracted very early on. What's actually his full name in here? Eli Junior Eric Anat Krupi. All right, that kind of ruins that a little bit, doesn't it? Anyway, that is definitely not the point of today. Today's point is to go from this situation all the way through until the end of our third season then. And with the way that this is set up, with the season preview saying that we should finish about 10th, with a 5-1 victory in our first game, I reckon we should be aiming for around about 6th to 10th. Is that fair? Would you go along with that? I feel like there's definite quality in this squad. Maybe not enough to go and push teams like PSG and the Monacos and Lille's maybe. Lyon are a strange team, especially, I mean, in real life, but also in FM in terms of where they are in the league. They are either right up there or I've seen them get relegated. In my stream save, they were 18th and relegated. So we'll see. It's a strange old league. We just know one thing, a constant, and that is that PSG are going to win the league until we can beat them, which is probably not this year. Let's find out, though, how this first season in the top flight goes by going until May, until the end of the season. Come on. And here we are in May. It's the 17th of May, 2026. And I'm going to task Editor Tom with a little bit of a problem here. Could you make sure that you blur out the league position on this page? Hopefully go back and do that from where I've started talking here, because I don't want to spoil where we finished. Instead, I want you guys and me alongside you to focus on the performances of the players, because it has been a season. Let me tell you, I am really happy with the situation here at Paris FC. I feel like the players that I'm able to buy and the players that have actually been bought and brought in are just perfect for the situation that we're in. They're kind of young and hungry, but not quite made that next step. And then they perform to that sort of level, which is going to take us a long way, I think. Let me do a quick pick, or let's pick the best 11 here, which would be Guti's advice on who's being picked in this, to show you some of the performances in terms of appearances and goals and assists as well, if I can get it on here, which we've had our troubles with, which still doesn't quite happen, which, by the way, doesn't quite work if I do the auto size on this one, because it just kind of, yeah, now these are really big and I have to move them anyway, type of thing. Like, why is condition this big? Anyway, not something we need to focus on necessarily, but just to answer those who tell me to auto size it. Anyway, we can now see on here, we've got our best 11 being picked. Now, this might be slightly different. You can see by the appearances here, but Alban Lafont has been an incredible goalkeeper for us. You can see by his star ratings, but we've got one of the best understudies, I think, in the league, which brings us on to an interesting question. And we're going to talk transfers in today's episode a little bit as well. When I show you where we finished and some of our results over the season, we're going to go through and do some of the first transfers for this summer, because I want you to be involved in the squad building aspect and me to talk you through the process that I'm going through too. Now, Goalkeepers, success story. Albon Lafont is now wanted, though, by Man City, among a string of other teams. Man City being the most reputable of those teams there, though. That's because of his performances this year. Not quite a 7 average, but he played all 34 games in the league. Rest did play 4 times. I think those were mainly in cup games here, and they were both pretty solid. Rest, I think, is almost ready to be a first-choice goalkeeper. Almost, I would say. 21 caps for the under-21s now. Loads of potential. I think he's going to kick on a lot as a goalie if he starts playing regular football, which maybe we need to give him sooner rather than later. Maybe that's an angle to go with in the summer. Does Lafont get sold on and you bring through Rest and bring in another younger backup goalkeeper? I feel like that's a good way of operating, although Lafont is himself really good. We're not going to get huge money for him if we do sell him because, I mean, I thought he might have had a release clause, I should say. He doesn't. It's just his value isn't massive. 7.8 to 9.4. It's a weird quirk, I think, that he just doesn't have big value, which is probably why these teams are interested in him. He's very good, though. Next up, Malo Gusto and Utara as the fullbacks. Gusto has been sensational. Really, really good. Can't quite see his assists on there, but he's picked up, there's that whole thing, 16 assists from right wing back or right back here. He is so good. The unfortunate thing is I don't think we're going to be able to get him back for next year. He actually cost us quite a lot of money for this loan. Nearly £1 million. I mean, it's been worth it, but we don't have spending $1 million on loan players that we're never going to sign permanently. I'm not sure. His value is too high to sign him permanently. So we might need to think about another one in at right back. Utara, I love him. I think he's great. He's really just solid. Ignore these downward arrows. The value's low, but he's got these under 21 French caps, and this is what's making me think we need to just persist with him. I'm going for basically I'm trying to sign the France under 21 team in this save because Paris FC, it kind of just makes sense to me to go and do that, and then I'll go elsewhere and see if we can pick up other young players from around the world of football too. It's put in here alongside those fullbacks then, and Socky at left centre back. He is fantastic. He's now wanted by Everton and Wolves. So the Premier League is calling for him, and I can see why. Look at the list of pros compared to his one con, which is that sometimes he gets himself booked. I wonder if I can see how many yellow cards he got over this season. 12 yellows. Yeah, that kind of confirms that a little bit, doesn't it? He's great. I want to keep hold of him. He's a little bit older at 27, but does have that 1 under 21 cap, which I guess helps it to fit in a little bit. I think I'm going to try and hold on to him. Alongside him, we did have 18 games from Jarrell Quansah. I just don't know if he's quite as good as he is in real life on the game. He's not. I don't know if he's going to kick on from here. He's 23 now. I think he's a really good squad player to have. He was being rotated clearly with Almami Toure. I think he was playing as a centre back rather than a right back. Let's have a look on his what's on here. How do I see it on here? His reports here on his form. Yeah, he was playing as a centre-back when he was playing. I did think so, as the quick pick would suggest there. Quansah played a few. Jer, now someone left me a really good comment about Jer, who said he's great. He's a bit of a gold mine if you can buy him for cheap. My problem, and I replied to the comment saying, was I just don't know if he doesn't play enough games. If he's not a starter, is he going to get unhappy? Is he going to develop? I feel like that's kind of happened. He's 21, so could still kick on, but he's like a lot of other people asking to leave. The rotation, when you use an assistant manager as the manager, is really a problem. Anyone who isn't in his first choice plans, just don't play games, and look how many unhappy players we have here. Cabal is one of them, despite his 2 goals on the first game of the season. Cabal, look, only started 8 games, got 4 goals, played okay, but he's asking to leave, along with basically all of these subs, which is Marshall Rutty's gone out on loan. That happened in January. Chiolo, Galdin, Cyprian, Lauren on loan, Jer, Cabal, Moreira, who played 14 games and is still slightly concerned. That's because he's playing in a weak position, a bit different. Toure, who we looked at, is still playing lots of games. I don't know how we're going to manage this. I guess this is how we manage this. We just sign players that maybe it's because I've brought these players in and I've promised them first team football. Now, he's agreed to be a squad player, and I feel like, yeah, maybe he's not quite been a squad player with the 2 appearances there, Cyprian. Maybe players like Jer, I need to look at their... Yeah, to be fair, he's agreed to be a squad player and he's played 7 games. I don't know. Maybe that's something that's just going to be really difficult to do, and I need to put them on really low game time promises. I'm not sure. Either way, let's move through the team. Midfield 2, great, really good. Mateus Diaz is really good. He's wanted now by Troyes. Hasn't got a huge value, but has been solid in our midfield in this defensive midfield spot. Really like him as a signing. Still only 24. Andy Diouf is a superstar. I was thinking he might be. He's actually in really good form in real life, I think, at the moment for Lens. And he has been unbelievable for us. He's perfect for this deeper midfield spot. I just love, I mean, look at his attributes. He's developing beautifully. 23 years old now, still going to get a bit better, I would hope. The pros and cons look really good too. It's just that he doesn't really have a good weak foot, if that makes sense. And also, he is inconsistent when presented with chances, which is why we're not giving him that many chances. We're playing him a bit deeper. He has got himself 8 goals, though. So despite that weakness, 8 goals from deeper midfield. I think he's probably playing as a deeper midfielder. Let's just check on his reports too. Yeah, playing as this, he plays as a ball-winning midfielder or a deep line playmaker in basically every single game there as a DM. I like these two. And then in front is where the magic has kind of happened. And I think we've had a lot of games with Martial playing out wide as shown here. If we go to his form, he is playing a lot, look, as an inside forward, which wasn't something I planned for, but Guti has moved his role and it's worked. He's got 22 goals. I think he's the star of the show still. He's now 30, so maybe we need to think about a succession plan for him. But Martial was so good again this year. Oscar Glue inside, or Glo, as people are telling me to say his name. Oscar in this cam spot here. Very, very nice indeed. 12 goals from him. And if we scroll across, how many assists did he get? I think it's a lot. Yeah, 17 assists. No, sorry. He only got the 1 assist. It was João Rego who was picking up the assist. 9 goals and 17 assists from João Rego. Maybe actually he's the main man. He is someone I'm going to try and get back for next year. I've already made a bid to sign him permanently. I think his value being around this is just a no-brainer. I think we have to. That's a bit of a weird one. Why did his value? Why did that happen? That's a strange thing. That's definitely not true. He is one we have to bring in. He's been here from the very beginning with us and been really good both seasons. Look, so he's going to be one that we're going to try and bring back. Tom, I'm making you work on this this blurring of the league position, but stay with me because the final player to mention is Junior Krupi, our new striker. He was listed in the top 50 wonder kids in the world. He got himself 6 goals, 3 assists from 28 games, 21 starts. He is our succession plan for Martial, the succession plan that I mentioned before. Hopefully he can come in and be a starting striker, start scoring the goals because he's still so young, only 19 years old. That kind of sums up the squad. I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk through the squad with you. I think it's really important we have a good handle of who's playing and what we're working with as the DOF. And then we can look at the results on the pitch, which is, again, out of our hands, isn't it? Let's reveal then where we have finished this season, our first season back in the top flight. We have finished 8th. Now, I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. I don't know about you guys, but when I started the video and I said I was aiming between 6th and 10th, around that spot, this is about right. It's a bit annoying that we've missed out on European qualification. It seems like on the last day by drawing 2-2 to Troy. Annoyingly, we've missed European football, but it's our first season back in the top flight. I think we can be completely happy with 53 points. Only 4 points off 4th, where Nice have finished. And of course, PSG have won the league. 99 points from them. They lost just 1 game, which was against Monaco. They drew 0. They won 33 of their 34. That just sums up the task that is ahead of us. If we are going to topple PSG in this save, even though we are making quick progress, jumping to playing, to being a mid-table team in the top division now, there's still a long way to go. We need to go and contend with Kylian Mbappe scoring 37 goals in the league. He's on £725,000 per week. He's injured for a couple of days, but I mean, how are we going to compete with this? It's a joke. Is his contract running out? No, they've extended it, so he's not going to go to Real Madrid in this save, which would have been nice for us, wouldn't it? Kolo Muani, who's just their backup striker, has got 27 goals. And I'm assuming Mbappe's playing as a striker. He might have been playing as a winger, actually, I suppose, for them. We would find out when we play them, I suppose. But 8th position, with results like these ones, I'm very, very happy. We started, of course, brilliantly with, if we go back to the start of the season here, this 5-1 win, which we watched in the last episode. Then it was a 1-0 win. We lost 5-1. This kind of goes to show we're playing this 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress, and it is a Gegenpress from Guti. I checked with the different skin, and it means that we can win games by lots of goals and score lots of goals, but we will also take a hit every now and then, like a 5-1 loss. You can see that is kind of the pattern. Lots of wins, lots of losses. Then a couple of draws into October. We didn't win in October. We lost 3-0 in our first face-off, the first derby with PSG. they were dominant, I think. If we have a look at the match stats for this one, they just dominated us. 3.49 XG from them. They actually had 3 offside goals in this one. There's the PSG team. So they play 2 strikers, look. It was a 4-2-4. They just go all out attack and score loads of goals. Yeah, that kind of summed up where we are with them. I don't expect us to go and beat them at this stage, though. I don't think you guys would either, would you? Then all the way through to November, which was better. We won 2 of our 3 games in that. We were unbeaten in December, even if we only won 1 of the games, which was a 5-0 win against Brest. We beat Olympique Marseille in the Cup 12-0. I love France because you play the 9th and 10th round back-to-back in January, and usually you get some very obscure teams in this 9th round of the Cup. We did go through to the 9th round and the 10th round and the 11th round, and then we lost in the quarterfinal. So it goes 11th round and then quarterfinal. We lost that to Nice away from home, who are a really good team. They finished high up the table too, didn't they, themselves? They finished 4th in the league. They are a good team. That, though, pretty much shows us our season. There's the other PSG game. We lost 5-1 in the home tie against them, which is actually even worse than we did away from home. Even though they had 8 shots on target and scored 5 of the goals. That seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? 14 shots. We almost had the same amount of shots. I mean, we only had 4 less shots than them, but they're so clinical with, there is Mbappe playing wide. I thought so. I thought he was. Kolo Muani scored twice in this one. Vitinha and Fabian. And yeah, we got smashed by them, didn't we? Then, though, a really good end to the season, almost sneaking us into that European place, but not quite, despite a 5-0 loss to Marseille in there. Some really good wins. Another 5-0 win against Brest. We love playing against Brest. I nearly made a joke. I'm not going to because I'm better than that. And you're better than that. I don't expect to see any Brest jokes in the comments down below, okay? You're better than that. That sums up our season, though. That takes us to this position here. That gives us a very healthy transfer budget. We talked about the fact that the new owners are full of money. Johan Dumont, with his spineless energy business, is ready to give us money. In fact, he injected these funds into the club. He is going to be a beautiful, beautiful owner to have. It isn't silly, by the way. This is a lot. I am aware of this. It doesn't go crazy and crazy on top of this. I am assured in the way that this database is set up, but it's going to make it really fun. It means that we can aim to go and sign people like João Rego, and as you may have noticed on here, players like Jonah Asari, who's just moved to Bayern Munich in real life, and he's a bit of a hero of ours on our stream save. We're going to bring him in as another striker option for 1.1 rising to 1.9 million pound. I'm excited to go and spend this money. That's what we're going to do for the remainder of this video. I'm doing some transfer business right now. It's going to hopefully build on this squad here with the idea that some of these are going to go. Oscar Glow, I think, is not going to be able to come back on loan again. Moreira, I might let go because he was unhappy last year. Lauren, I'm not going to loan again. Gusto goes back. So there's already gaps in the squad there. Then I'm going to look to fill them in with some good players, as well as looking to maybe have a succession plan in place for Martial, with Krupi coming in as the striker, etc. Let's see. Also, Quantza being replaced and made into a squad player. That was kind of my thinking. Hopefully you can see when I do the transfers, I'll show you why I've brought them in. Let's go and do some transfer business and find out how we're going to set up for our 4th season in charge. Come on. And here is that summer business. Then we start before the tick over dates. You can see some of the old transfers on here with 2 pretty significant signings. Those are of Lenny Yoro. Remember him on a permanent deal. We had a season without him, but he was so good for us in the promotion season. He ended up playing 28 games for Lille in the top division last year with a really good average rating. And then he was available for about £18 million. And with the money, I showed you how much money we had to spend. I thought this is one we could not pass up. It will rise to 23. I think it was about half of that in terms of what we've paid for now. We are going to use these installments with an owner like Johan Dumont under the promise that he's going to put money into the club. I'm going to spend that money and hope that he just keeps giving it to us, because the goal of the save being to overpower PSG is so lofty and so far away. I think we have to be really speculative with the spending that we're going to do. So Lenny Yoro is in. Jonah Kusiasari is also in for that £1.9 million, a real prospect for the future. Don't think he's going to be a starter. I believe he's been told he's going to be a squad player for next year. I think I'm going to try and be really careful with the playing time on here, because I do think that the assistant manager goes by the agreed playing time when he's picking his 11. Likewise, if you promise a player that they're going to start, the assistant manager will force them into their selection. So I try to not do any promises, basically, because if I do, it has a really strong effect on who's being picked by the assistant manager. I don't know if you've noticed that in your own saves. I wonder if, and it's probably true, that the playing time promises is factored into their squad selections as well. So I'm trying to be as hands-off as I can be, but trying to be realistic with the promises I'm giving them. We know that if in FM as well, sometimes to sign a player, you have to promise them to be a starter, even if you don't really want them to be, and go from there. Don't know if you guys do that as well, but it feels like something you have to do. Anyway, Lenny Yoro is our first big signing of the summer. Only 20. Should have a lot of potential too. I like his pros and his cons. The only cons being that he fits into the secondary group, which can be changed, and that he can only play centre-back, but we only want him to play centre-back. He's a 6'3", young centre-back. We know he's got loads of potential. He was in loads of those wonder kid lists at the start of this year's game. If we can foster him into a fully fledged France international, I think we're going to have a real player at our hands there. He's got himself a 5-year deal as well on £45,000 per week. I think it's good value for money. I'm excited about this signing. He will pop into our centre-back partnership alongside probably Nsocki, who has stayed at the club. We talked about players or teams being interested in him. I've also signed another couple of centre-backs too. I've been busy, and these are the players that I have bought. £34.5 million spent, just over that £31 million transfer budget that we had. Obviously, add in the Kusiasari and Lenny Yoro transfers onto that too. That just goes to show how much of the future installments I am using. No one has really been sold, although there are a few players that I might try and sell on in the remainder of this window. It's the 13th of July, so there's loads of the window left. We've got all of July, all of August to still do more business. We've got a little bit of money too, £7 million and a little bit of wage budget still to work with. You can see there was some interest in Cabal, where they were just going to pay his wages. I might still loan him out. I've also got one other transfer still to go through, which is Afonso Moreira. I'll talk about him now because we're on his page here. I did not extend his loan because he just wasn't playing enough games to justify it, to use up one of our loan spots. Although I have struggled to bring in really high quality loans this summer compared to who we were able to bring in before. Anyway, that's a different story. I'll show you the players that I brought in. He then, though, went back to Sporting, Moreira, and then was consequently transfer listed for £1.4 million. So I just thought, because he's been here and actually been pretty good when he has played a lot of games, he's worth it as a squad player for 1.4 million. So he might well be coming back. We do have a little bit of competition again. I think it's Strasbourg who have made a bid for him as well. He should be coming in though. Let's have a look at the rest of these signings. Let's look and start with one that we talked about before. João Rego has joined permanently. What a coup this could be for the club. £9 million, £8.5 million rising. In fact, that's it. £8.5 million for a player that has started basically every game in our 2 seasons since we brought him in. He's had an average rating over a 7 in both of those. 12 assists last year, 17 in all comps. He is invaluable to us. For 8.5, we've got a bargain. He's going to be a starter. He's still only 21 as well. I just think this just makes so much sense. It's the first time I've signed João Rego on FM, actually. And I know that a lot of people rate him really highly. So I'm enjoying having him in the team. He's going to be a definite starter, I think. And then I've brought through some other wingers. First of which is Johan Bakayoko, who was on a free transfer and no one seemed to be picking him up. I think he's really good. I don't know if it's because he's had a broken ankle that other teams were avoiding bringing him in, but I just kind of saw him on the list there. I was like, he's really good. He's highly rated in real life. He'll be a definite asset for us on either of these wings. He's left-footed, so you could either play him as a winger here or maybe cutting in from the right-hand side. He's got loads of interest from Premier League clubs, I think, at the moment, playing for PSV in real life. 23 years old. He fits the mould for what we want to do here. I think on a free transfer, it just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? He's going to be a good option for us. Next up is a man called Delane Bakwa. As I said before, I'm going for these players that are playing under 21 football for France. He was transfer listed for £4.7 million. No, sorry, it wasn't transfer listed. He had a relegation release clause because Strasbourg got relegated last season from the top division. I then saw that this was a thing and thought, he fits the mould, another squad player potentially, but still only 23. Delane Bakwa has been brought in for £4.7 million. Him and Bakayoko and Rego, and then Moreira too to come in, are going to be our winger options. If we then go and sell somebody like Cabal, who we talked about before, he might well be going. I'll show you the squad as a whole after this. There's still some gaps. So maybe I'll get some advice from you guys about what I should be looking to do. Maybe who I should bring in. Maybe we'll have a look at the lists of players available too. Let's move through though too. I kind of also have a big part of this window is if there were bargains available, I decided to pick them up because we've got a decent squad anyway that can finish mid-table. If there are bargains available, we might as well bring them in. Bakayoko is an example of that, and so is this guy. Martin Vitic, he's really good. I think he's, like FM players know, right? He's a really good centre-back. He was available for 58k from Sparta Prague. I think he was listed for this. I saw it and thought, well, we'll bring him in, even if it is simply to flip him for a little bit of a profit. His value's really low. Strange one. I don't know. I think he looks quite good as well. We talked about needing to bring in some centre-backs, maybe to push Quansah. I think it just for 58k, it had to be done, didn't it? Let's skip Cassius and we'll come back to him because, speaking of centre-backs, this is my big centre-back signing of the summer. Abakar Silla, a 23-year-old Ivorian international. But he was available. He's playing in France. Again, he was at Strasbourg, who we've raided a little bit because of their relegation. I just thought he is a player we have to bring in. Have a look at his attributes in this profile here. I know he's not quite French because, you know, he's Ivorian, but he was playing in France, so I still think it fits the mold slightly. Still only 23 as well. So he's in that age group that we're looking for, isn't he? He has also got 20 leadership, which I just love. For the future, build around him in our defence. He's left-footed, so him and Nsocki might be a little bit of an issue if we want to play them together, but we've got Lenny Yoro in too, so maybe Silla will take the place of Nsocki, who's a little bit older, but I think it gives us really good options at centre-back, maybe too many options at centre-back, maybe something we need to look at for the remainder of this window. Then, if you remember, the next issue we had was that Malo Gusto was going back to Chelsea. He has been very difficult to bring back. He's not somebody who I've chosen to bring back. If I go to his profile on here, he is at Chelsea. He is loan listed, but he's on £100,000 a week and it just seems really expensive. I might revisit this later on if we don't get anybody else in, but I thought we should sign somebody permanently in at that right back spot. So I've gone for another one who I think is a bit of a bargain. He is Denzo Cassius, who played for AZ in Holland, and I just looked at his attributes and thought he's just solid, isn't he? He's got some weird cons in there. I don't know if he's like a player that's going to be in our team forever. But in terms of a placeholder, he's kind of going to be him. Him and Almami Traore are going to maybe rotate at that right back spot. He's definitely not as good as Gusto, but he's got decent pace and acceleration and kind of solid. Don't love his positioning, I won't lie to you. 6'1" as well. Again, 23 in the right age bracket. He only cost, what, £3 million? £3.5 million. I think hopefully he should be solid, and that should get us through to where we can maybe go and sign an obvious candidate to play at that right back spot. Maybe Gusto permanently in the future. That could be cool, couldn't it? But I don't know if it's going to happen. And then finally, our final signing He's only just been done. It's the 12th I signed him, and it's the 13th today. I needed a new midfielder after Oscar Glow has gone back to whoever he was being loaned from. That loan ended. In fact, can I show you release players? I feel like there's a lot on here. Yeah, we did also lose a lot of players on free transfers, or I let a lot of players go on free transfers too. Just to show you that as well. Oscar Glow, however you say it, went back to his parent club. So I've brought in another wonder kid. It's Sverre Hauset Naipan on loan from AC Milan, who have signed him in this save. And we know, FM24 players, you know how good this guy can be if you can develop him. Still only 19. We're going to bring him into our team. And I think he's one of those that maybe we keep an eye on whether we can sign him permanently. Feel like I've not used him this year, despite knowing how good he is and so many people talking about him. I feel like this could be the save to bring him in. He's only 11 million to 13 million now. After a season, if we can make this permanent, I think we do actually have a deal where we can bring him in for £12.75 million. I think he's definitely an option we could go for. He's going to either play, that's all of our signings, by the way. He's either going to play as our number 10, or I'll swap him with Andy Juve, who could also play there. We talked about his lack of finishing, though, even though he scored 8, or his inconsistency in front of goal, which is why I'm a bit worried about him there. He's also been so good as a defensive midfielder. I'm not quite sure. And then again, it's not going to be up to us, is it? It's going to be up to Guti. So we'll see who gets picked where. But I think the 11 might look a little bit like this year. And obviously it might change a little bit with players like Martial coming back in different places. But if I was going to pick, this is the 11 that I would pick. It would probably be Lafont in goal still. We haven't sold him, although there is window left. And he's still wanted, not by Man City anymore, but Napoli and Udinese. So if he does go, if a big bid does come in, which I might accept if one does, I've put his asking price at 11.5, which was right at the top of his range that he would accept. if we're going to sell him, I want to get good money for him. So if we get a bit of 11 million, I think he would go and Rest would become our first choice goalkeeper. Then I'd bring in a youngster in the remainder of this window. Cassia's at right back, Utara at left back. Yoro and Silla as our centre-backs, I think. Yoro starting on the right-hand side, Silla on the left. It means that Nsoki goes to the bench. Maybe if we get a big bid for him, we would sell Nsoki to Wolves. He's 27. So good. Really, really solid for us. But we've got a lot of centre-backs now. And if he's going to be a backup, you don't really want to be sitting on a 15 million player as a backup, do you? So I will think about that one. He, though, is something to think about for the future. Next episode, you'll find out if I do that, I suppose. Let me know what you think I should do as well. Sal Nsoki to Wolves. Sell Kiolo to, or loan out Kiolo, who's just still unhappy on our bench here. Mateus Diaz and Juve as our defensive midfielders. Maybe Naipan if we swap them. We will see. Bakayoko, Rego as the wingers. Maybe we've got Moreira coming in. We've also got Martial, who played a load of games from here. I do have a feeling that Guti might go with this as well. We will see. We've also got then up front Krupi or Kusiasari, who isn't far off, you know. Again, another player that might need game time. We will see. I wonder if we loan him. If he's not playing in January, I might sort out a loan for him just so he's playing regular football. We will see. Then our bench players, we've got a right back option in Toure, Vitic, Quansah and Soki as centre back options. That's 3 centre backs on our bench there. It's a lot, isn't it? Maybe Nsoki covers left back as well. We don't really have another left back cover, so that might be something I need to bring in too. Jer, right down here, I'm going to have to let him go on loan, I think. He's just really unhappy. We talked about him before earlier in the video, didn't we? Just to go through the rest of these subs. Kiolo, Krupi, Bakayoko, Bakwa. I think we're a little bit light in centre midfield. I might go and see if there's any more loans we can pick up there. Cyprian at the moment is our backup centre mid, and I don't think he's quite good enough. Also, he's really unhappy because he's just not played enough games, basically. Marshall is still out on loan. Kabbalah, I'm going to try and shift on. That then is the squad. We do have, obviously, some like under-19s. We did have an intake and things. We've got some players who look quite good that I've not shown you. Jose Carlos Gil looks like a decent centre-back. He's just a bit, I don't know. He's lacking in some of the attributes here. 20 bravery, though. Very brave is Carlos Gil. I'd love to be able to bring through some of these players into the first team at some point. This guy looks okay as an inside forward, but lacking in pace a bit as a 17-year-old. And then there is a player called Paul Vidal who looked okay when I looked at him. Goalkeeper, but only 5'11". Yeah, there's not loads. If there was one, I would definitely share him with you to say we're going to try and bring this guy into the first team. But that's where we're at. That is the situation. 7 mil to go and spend. A few gaps in this squad, I think you would agree. At the moment, in terms of a season preview, we are suggested to finish 8th in the league. I think that makes our aim for this season a European place. Would you agree? Let me know what you think I should be doing. Let me know what you think of the save as a whole. I love reading your comments. Let me know how you think Guti is doing as well. I loved all the people raising all the plaudits for him last episode. And thank you so much for watching today. It's a super fun save to do. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're enjoying the journey. Hopefully 2 videos this week as well. Apologies for just the one last week. Tuesday, Thursday should be the plan. If this is out on Tuesday, then expect another one on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.